1 minute.
Okay.
All right, we're live.
We're live.
Joshua, I've had such an insane day. Like, what the what, man?
All right, we're live. Oh, we're live. Why was your day insane?
Hang on. I have like the stream up in 3 different places and they were all talking to me at the same. I just like a long day, man. It was a long day. How's everyone in the chat doing? Let us know that we're coming through okay. Oh, my camera just went off. Joshua, entertain the crowd while I restart this.
Well, I should sing a song. Oh, I can't sing a song.
Oh, it's quick. Zoom likes to change my settings, and I know people say that we shouldn't use Zoom, but I'm lazy and I don't feel like figuring anything else out.
It's okay. It's a Libra moon. You're supposed to be lazy.
It's good.
Yeah, it's very lazy.
Exactly. Joshua, you know what Sunday is?
Sunday is your birthday, and
it's also my birthday.
It's also Easter. Coincidence? I think not.
I think not. It's only the second time, maybe the third time in my life, my birthday has been on Easter.
Oh my God. Okay.
And I have no plans except talking to you.
Oh my God, that's perfect. What a wonderful day to spend Easter Sunday.
Yeah, is talking to you for 2 hours.
There are certain worse things that you could talk to. For instance, like people that are in a satanic cult. That would definitely be worse and very sacrilegious on Easter, actually. Very sacrilegious.
I mean, I'm not a Christian, so I'd probably be okay.
Most likely. So what was your day like? What'd you do?
Well, you know what I did today is I had an interview with Dave Rubin of the Rubin Report.
The Dave Rubin.
Okay. And I gotta tell you, like, I was a little bummed out because I really wanted to go there and do it in person. And I feel like it would have been so much better in person because we had weird technical difficulties where he thought it was on my end. I was like, I've got like the fastest internet that Comcast offers, dude. But I don't actually think it was on his end either. I think it was the piece of technology that they're using. Mm-hmm. So it was like I kept getting disconnected. We had to keep starting and restarting. And I was like, oh my God. And so I was a little disappointed and I'm a little nervous about how it went. And I just feel like it would have been much better in person, but you got to make do, right? How do you think it went? Yeah,
well, let's see. Let's see. I'm sure that it went much better than you think. And let's just see. So we'll see if your fears are unfounded or what. So do me a favor and just say, how did my interview with Dave Rubin go?
How did my interview with Dave Rubin go?
And tell me when I should stop shuffling.
Stop.
Okay. How did your interview with Dave Rubin go?
And I just want to say that I love that everyone in the chat right now is watching basically a therapy session for me to make me feel better.
I think that it went fairly well. I think there's more of a fear of defeat than anything else. The Emperor shows up, right? So I think that, this is interesting. The Emperor has to do with the sign of Aries, right? At the same time, it also is the Emperor, which is him. He's, highly established, highly successful, strong, stable. So it's sort of like you're putting both your energy and his together, and it sort of is. It's almost like you're both the same in some respects because you have the Aries energy and he has that masculine Emperor energy. So I think that when you have that, not that I think there was a battle of wills or anything like that, or like who's the boss, but typically you're in a position usually in which you are the boss, right? You are usually the one that's giving, that's hosting these things, that is conducting interviews, that is doing the coaching, that is the leader who quite frankly has more prominence.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. It puts you in a weird situation. Then you have 5 of Swords, which is fear of defeat. I think that it's more a mental thing than anything else with this card. It's more like, just worrying about things. And it's sort of like we have these trains of thoughts that we wind up flowing with, and sometimes they can trip us out. But I don't think that there's anything really that actually went wrong, because then you have 9 of Discs. This is a very good card. You love the 9 of Discs. You know about this card. This is love of work made visible. Both of you love what you're doing. And both of you love what you're doing and then do it and have it not be successful. So
Well,
I would not worry.
I hope so. Fingers crossed. It's going to come out in about 4 weeks. They said what they're doing is they're doing a bunch of coronavirus stuff, or they're waiting till after coronavirus stuff or something like that. So it'll be a little bit of a wait for everyone, but I was really excited to have it was so surreal too, because like I've watched him so much to like see him on my computer screen. It didn't kind of register sometimes that I was like actually talking to him.
Were you like, Johnny Bravo?
No, I was not like that. No, I was not that quite that fangirly. When I'm on Tim Pool, I'm gonna be that fangirly, but not with Dave Rubin.
Davy Jones. Okay, well that's good. I ran his chart for you.
Oh yes, because I asked him his birth time on
I know.
our call.
Did you get this during the interview, may I ask?
No, I got it. It was like last minute. I was like, by the way, I have a real weird question to ask you.
That is so cool. I so wish like my clients would actually be so ambitious as to actually get the birth time of people that they know. So yeah, I ran his chart. I was really happy to see this too.
All right. So guys, if you have any questions specific to Dave Rubin, Joshua is going to do a little astrological interpretation.
So
are you going to share your screen?
I can totally share my screen if you want. Am I allowed to?
I think so. Can you?
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Totally. Oh, actually, let me do this first. I ran his transits. Let me just show his chart to make it less complicated. Okay. Right. Let's do this. Hold on. Share screen. There we go. All right. So this is Dave Rubin. Is it? Okay. I was like, oh no, it's confidentiality, but this is kind of on the internet. I'm like, oh no, it's awful. I'm such a horrible person. So he, honestly, when I first saw this, I'm like, he must be loving this quarantine. If only because he's a Cancer, right? And Cancers are house of home and family. So they get to stay home and they get to keep a level of security. Cancers are about domes in a lot of respects, just like their counterpart Capricorn. So it's all about creating like a dome or creating a barrier between himself and his connection. So in a lot of respects, this is really, really ideal for him. It's ideal for a lot of Cancers during this period. And it's also really, as we had spoken about before, quite ideal for all of us because the North Node, which is our collective destiny, is in Cancer right now. So it's great that we're home in a lot of ways. What's interesting is that he may be a Cancer, which is all about home and family and feeling emotionally secure and connection, but he also has a Gemini moon. So his moon is at 23 degrees Gemini. This is very much close to Donald Trump. When was Donald Trump?
Oh.
Well, I got to find out Donald Trump's. I can actually look at it over here, what degree Donald Trump is, but I'm pretty sure that it's close. And a lot of people lately that I've been communicating with, they have this similar aspect with the Donald. It's really interesting. But essentially that Gemini moon, that is very, very different from Cancer. So Cancer is very much about like family and connections, and Gemini is all about like communications and talking to people. Oh yeah, okay. So Donald Trump's sun is at 22 degrees Gemini. This dude, he's at 23 degrees Gemini moon. So essentially Donald Trump and him, it is a really very, very good connection. Whenever you have like the moon and the sun, in this instance, it would be called conjunct because they're both so close to each other. It's a very, very strong connect. If they
so
were,
Dave Rubin has strong connections to Donald Trump, is what you're saying?
Very strong, yeah. And in fact, when the sun is masculine and the moon is feminine. So when anybody's sun is on your moon, as Donald's is to Dave's, their energy is really, really big and somewhat imposing. So if they were to like hang out or whatnot, it would probably be very similar to the relationship that you may have seen or you may have experienced when you were on his show, in the sense that you have this, this force. When somebody's sun is on your moon, because the moon is the most vulnerable aspect of the chart and the sun is the most, has the most vitality, it's sort of imposing. But anyway, his Gemini moon makes him really great. This is David. Makes him really good at communicating. Like he needs to communicate. He needs to share information. But what I love about it is he has a Virgo rising. So Dave Rubin is very much all about service. Like he very much cares about people. And what he's doing is not like, rub my belly, I'm so great, look at me, I'm this superstar. It's really very much about taking care of other people. And that's further emphasized because he is a Cancer, yes, but his sun shines in the 11th house. So Cancer is typically home at the 4th house or in the 4th house, which is all about home and family. The 11th house is about the world at large. So you could say that he is a nurturer, a caring force for the masses with his sun in the 11th. Meanwhile, sorry?
No, I was gonna say, it was like the impression I got of him. It was just like, it was like very gentle, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I appreciated that. I feel like he kind of likes he takes care of his guests as he interviews a little bit.
He takes care of the masses. He takes care of the world. He's very, very caring. It's all about service. Virgo is his rising sign, and they're very much about serving other people. Bernie Sanders, for instance, not that I imagine they get along very well, or at least certainly don't have the same ideologies, but it's the same thing. Also, though, interestingly enough about Dave, is that his Mars is in Leo, which is fighter. I think Donald Trump's Mars is in Leo too. But Dave's Mars is in the 12th, so 12th house, and the 12th house is hidden. So his alpha side, it's there obviously because he must utilize it in order to have been become so successful, but it's hidden. So he's not that side of him is hidden and it's diffused in the 12th house. So he's not always aware of it, and it doesn't really show, which also makes him, I think, a very popular figure. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
cool. And thank you, Pablo, for the super chat. Pablo wants to know, Joshua, if you do chart analysis for like a fee.
Of course I do.
Guys, if you want to book an appointment with Joshua, go to psychicsun.com, and his info is in the description below. And he's awesome. 2 thumbs up. He's never steered me wrong.
Wow.
Well, maybe once or twice you've steered me wrong.
2 times maybe.
Or like I just ignored you and did what I wanted to do anyway.
Well, you always ignore me and do what you want to do. The thing is that honestly, with what psychics or astrologers or what we really do is we're getting the information from you. I mean, it's like we're saying the stuff that you know, and we're just extracting it from you. We're soliciting it from you. We're like acting as mirrors. So, but yeah, I think Dave's. I was really happy to see his chart, and it was really interesting to get that glimpse. So.
I was nervous when I was when they first reached out to me. I was like, please don't let him be a dick. Please don't let him be a dick. Please don't let it be all a show. Because like I really wanted to like Dave Rubin, and I was really scared that it was like I was gonna see like a different side of him, because that sometimes happens when you meet someone and it's like they're just an asshole.
Oh, it's awful. It's really is that expression. All idols have clay feet. It's really, really tough when that happens. But yeah, luckily I think that he's definitely he's a very caring person.
Yay. So we like Dave Rubin.
Very much like Dave Rubin. Yeah.
As long as he makes me look cool on his.
Of course he'll make you look cool. How could he not make you look cool? I mean, granted, you have a terrible internet connection, but you know, details.
I have an amazing internet connection. Whatever. I have like 400 up and like 50 down, or not 50 up and 400 down.
So you showed up to an interview completely unprepared for massive people.
Turning off my camera. The Chinese.
It's the Chinese or the Russians, definitely.
Should be getting a new camera this week, so hopefully that stops happening.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Topic number 2 that we wanted to talk about, and we actually had to like stop ourselves from discussing this beforehand because we were already discussing it. Rose McGowan and Alyssa Milano.
Yes. So you want to give the Reader's Digest version?
Okay, so essentially, we talked last week on our stream about how Joe Biden was like Me Too'd and there was an accusation against him. Well, apparently Joe Biden's accuser, which like this accusation is from a while ago, but she went to Time's Up and she tried to get them to help her, and they were like, nah, not interested, running for president. And then Alyssa Milano, who was like out to get Kavanaugh during those hearings and sat there looking all menacing with a clipboard that said, "Believe survivors know on Kavanaugh." Oh my God, what is going
on? Come back.
At least I'm you never lose me, really. I'm back in a second. But so she came out and endorsed Biden, and then after this Me Too accusation, like people were like, so you still gonna endorse him because you want to believe all survivors? She's like, yeah, I'm cool, I still want to endorse him. And then what happened, Joshua? What happened with Rose
Rose
McGowan?
McGowan came out like a banshee and said, you have, I think I screenshotted it. She was, I mean, okay, this is like Scorpio jealousy to like the nth degree. I have huge issues with Rose McGowan for a lot of reasons that we may not even have the time to get into right now. For instance, how she decided to take hush money and then decides later on when she's not employable to get more money. But besides that, let me just tell you what she wound up saying. So she tweets, Rose McGowan tweets, to Alyssa Milano. This is Samantha Maselli, remind you, from Who's the Boss, okay?
I feel like you're very protective.
To whom she's talking to. Well, Alyssa's a Sagittarius, and me and
that explains it. That explains it.
I mean, I grew up with Alyssa Milano, okay? So anyway, you are a fraud, Rose McGowan says to Melissa Milano. This is about holding the media accountable. You go after Trump and Kavanaugh saying, believe victims. You are a lie. You have always been a lie. The corrupt DNC is on the smear job of Tara Reid. So are you. Shame. Crazy.
No,
why is she not making birdhouses right now and like Pine Circle?
Did you actually see there was like a video of this interview that she did though? Did you see this? Where like the interviewer's asking her about like what she thinks of all this, and she was like had like this deadpan like glare on and was like, I know these people. Do you think I don't know these people? It was insane. But here's the thing. I did a video today about the Me Too stuff. And I have to say, like, part of I think Alyssa Milano is being an absolute hypocrite in this. I really do. And I think and part of why I'm so mad is like she made me agree with Rose McGowan because I agree with that tweet that she sent. I absolutely agree with that. And I think Rose McGowan's crazy. I think she's a nut job. But like, which I'm sure is a professional psychologist thing to say, but like, she's a nut job, man. I'm not being paid by her. I'm going to say it.
This is the thing that Alyssa Milano had a very good point that even though she can be all for the Me Too movement, we are in America in which you are innocent until proven guilty. I don't understand why we're forgetting this. There's been no due process whatsoever, which is what Milano had said, and she's absolutely correct.
No. But this is where she's being a hypocrite, though, because there was no due process for Brett Kavanaugh either. And she was all like sitting there with her clipboard up so you could see it throughout the whole hearing. Like, I believe survivors, no one can. She didn't give him due process. Like, this is less about whether I think Joe Biden's guilty than it is about like, you know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And if Joe Biden was a Republican, you better believe Alyssa Milano and Time's Up would have been out there crusading against him. That's absolutely what would have happened.
There's another thing, though, that we have to take into consideration, that Alyssa Milano apparently had been friends with Joe Biden for over 10 years. Okay, so
what?
That's a big deal. Okay, well, there's the concept of friendship. Now, this is another value that we're looking at here. And if you're friends with somebody for 12 years, just because you have a certain cause that you represent, you're going to betray your friend for 12 years, go against him publicly?
Yes, maybe not go against it, but she didn't have to like double down on it. She could have walked it back somehow and been more diplomatic, but she was like, no, I did my due diligence. And what she meant by doing due diligence is she read an article. And she said, well, Time's Up didn't take the case, so, you know, that's what she did. And it's like, you know what? No, you're being a hypocrite, man. If you believe all survivors, then like apply that standard here.
Right. Well, I think that it's ridiculous.
It should be like believe all survivors when it's convenient for me to do so.
Well, again, I do think that this is honestly a question about value systems. If somebody has a friendship as a very high tier value in their life, they can't go against that because they also care about a movement or a cause. It really, can you imagine like a friend of yours, no matter what cause she was all about, you've had this friend for over 12 years and she comes out and publicly defames you and calls you names and makes judgments that aren't even true? That's ridiculous.
But are they really friends? Are they really friends? I mean, or is like they're acquaintances?
I don't know with these people.
They're not like hanging out and drinking beer on the weekends. Joe Biden isn't doing anything on the weekends but sitting in his chair and like complaining about the volume on the TV.
Alyssa Milano called him her friend. So I don't know what lies she's telling or truths she's telling, but she said that they were friends. And if that is the case, then she did the honorable thing. You don't do that to a friend. I don't care what side of the table you're on. You don't come publicly out against a friend. You just don't do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I suppose it's so fun when we disagree on things, though.
Yes, like all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
We don't disagree. Go ahead.
in some respects, we do. It depends. It depends on the issue. It depends on the issue. But yeah, I also I just think that Rose McGowan has also just gone off the rails, and I also think that these girls have been fighting. I mean, let's face it, since the 1990s. So, yeah. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Can you imagine being on that set?
God, no! I would sooner shoot myself in the foot.
Well, you talk about toxic work cultures because that's your domain in a lot of respects. I mean, can you imagine how toxic? Can you imagine being a coach on the set of Charmed?
I wouldn't do it, man. I wouldn't do it. I would not take that work because like they didn't want to be coached. They wanted to fight. And it's like let me go beat my head against the wall trying to get these people to get along.
Okay, well, I never watched Charmed. I never really liked it. It just was too hokey for me. But out of all the girls, okay, and I'm going to call them girls, and you can, I'm going to get me too.
I don't care.
Girls. Anyway, out of all the girls that were on Charmed, which one was your favorite? So let's look.
I didn't watch Charmed.
You didn't watch it? Do you remember even the girls that were on it?
I remember Shannon Doherty was on it. And she's a raging psycho. And Rose McGowan, who is also a raging psycho, and Alyssa Milano, who's a raging hypocrite. So none of them are good. I would not hang out with any of them.
There was a third one, though.
Oh, who was the other one?
Who
was the other one? People in chat, help us out. Who was the other one? Maybe she was not a raging psycho.
Charmed. Oh, I think she was actually the normal one.
Oh, I know that she is the normal one. She doesn't like the one that doesn't make any waves.
What was her name?
I know. Holly Marie Combs. Curious, yes! Got it. Thank you, Curious.
Good work. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think she's probably the most stable. But yeah, that was, pretty interesting. I don't know. Poor Shannon Doherty. I do think that she gets the dirty end of the stick.
Shannon Doherty made her own bed.
Oh, I don't know. I like Shannon too. I think Shannon has a little bit of fire too. I kind of respect Shannon's fire.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
You're the defender of female celebrities that I hate.
Well, I don't
hate anyone. I don't hate anyone, but like.
No, hate is a very strong word.
I can be very annoyed by some women sometimes. Mostly women. I'm very rarely annoyed by men. Why is that, do you think?
Because you're an Aries. Aries definitely get along much better with men than women. And because Aries just have more of a masculine vibe and take on things, I think.
No kidding.
And they're also, I think, well, I mean, even Shannon Doherty is an Aries. I believe she is. I better check that out. I believe she is. But yeah, and Alyssa Milano is a Sagittarius. Oh my God, I type in Shannon and I'm like, oh shit, well, I better type in Doherty. And she's the first one that comes up. That's pretty good. Now that's star power right there. Yeah, she is an Aries and she's actually born on your birthday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't know that actually. I didn't know that. I don't know what that says.
You two should celebrate. Tag her in a post, and maybe you guys can do a Zoom call. And
no, I don't want to do a Zoom call. I'm doing a Zoom call with you on Sunday. You are the only Zoom call I'm doing on Sunday. I'm going to sit my ass on the couch and watch Netflix the rest of the time. And hopefully Victor got me a cake and a present or something because he didn't. God help him.
Hint,
Victor, if you're in the chat, it is my birthday on Sunday and you have responsibilities. Victor last year, oh my God, do you remember what Victor got me for a cake last year? Did I tell you about this? He got me a knitting cake last year.
Really? Okay.
He had a proper professionally decorated cake that had this knitting thing on it, and he had knitting needles sticking out of it. And he got me an electric ball winder, which is very, very important. Curious is paying attention. My husband is not in chat, so we can talk about him. But he did very good last year, so he has a thing. He has something to prove, I guess, this year.
Okay, yeah, no, he has a lot to. He has a lot to. What is the expression? A lot to live up to.
A lot to live up to.
A lot to live up to. Okay, fair enough.
All right, folks, if there's anything in the chat you want us to address specifically, Joshua and I can certainly rant about a variety of topics, and we can do psychic questions about world events if you like. If there are any questions that you have burning that you want him to pull cards on or anything like that, then we'll take those questions when you're ready. And, honestly, guys, super chat is a lot easier for us to see, but I'm going to try to get questions if they're not super chat because I don't want people to have to do that if they don't want to. All right. So Joshua, we wanted to debut a new game
Yes, a new game. I love games.
Tell us about the new game.
So in this game, what we're going to do is talk about how some celebrities might be fronting or creating this pretense of being extremely liberal because Hollywood is very, very, very liberal. Now, are these people doing this to secure employment in Hollywood, or are they actually closet conservatives? That is the question. I have quite a few eyebrows raised when I'm seeing these celebs talking, and I think that you do too.
Oh yeah, a lot of them are so full of it when they talk like social justice warriors, or even when they just don't say anything at all. So guys, if there are any celebrities that you want to know if they are liberal or conservative, we will do our best to psychic that information for you. So I have a celebrity I want to do, and you had one that you wanted to do.
Definitely.
And then, oh, Leah, thank you. We appreciate your super chat.
Leah,
Yay.
thank you so much. We love you.
All right, Curious wants us to do Chris Pratt.
Oh, okay. Honestly, my impression, I do think that he's a liberal because honestly, I don't think he's, I think he's a little soft is what I get. Not that like all liberals are soft, but I get him being, I'm gonna get in so much trouble for this, but I don't really care. I think he's a little feeble-minded. And I do think that there's, I do think that with that, I get energetically there's sort of like a soft spot in his brain. Like he's not completely there. I mean, I'm sure he's like super talented and everything like that, but there's always that balance, right? But I think that he has the ability, it's law of least resistance for him to be more liberal. Yeah.
I kind of tend to agree with that. Also, isn't he married to a Kennedy?
I don't know.
I think he's married to a Kennedy.
Okay.
So he's in the Kennedy family. So I would assume that he would have to be a liberal, or at least like a centrist. But I also like I agree with the impression. I can't believe I'm saying this because I feel bad about it. I agree with him being like a little feeble-minded, like not like the brightest crayon in the box, but like a lovable guy that like you like hanging out with.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but also I think that the conservatives have a certain they have a certain fight to them. I don't see him being talented in that way.
Yeah. So we got one more from the chat, and then we'll do ours.
Okay.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. I think he's conservative.
Really? I would have said liberal. I would have said liberal.
Secretly, I think that he's conservative. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's probably very issue-based for him. I would say that he's probably most definitely a fiscal conservative. And the straight away, what I get from him is that he very much is a hard worker, and I think that he really very much respects that. And I don't think that he's interested in other people getting handouts because he knows all the sacrifices that he's had to make. And I think that that's where he really draws his battle lines, because I do think that liberals do have a tendency to be more inclined to give things away.
No, I mean, and that kind of makes sense because he's like a family man, right? Like he has like 3 kids, and he was like had this string of marriages and engagements too. So like he obviously wanted to have like a more settled traditional life, and so that would kind of make sense.
Yeah, I don't think he'd ever admit it, but I also think that I mean, he's a Scorpio, Ryan Reynolds, so he has this, you know, he's always going to be on survival mode. There are a lot of layers to him before you actually get to the real Ryan Reynolds. Same thing with Ryan Gosling, another Scorpio. There's a lot of levels. Scorpios are too sensitive and too smart, quite frankly, to let people really, or their public, if they're in the public eye, to really get a close look at them. You know what I mean? Unless you're Rose McGowan, who's a Scorpio, but she's crazy, as we had said.
All right. So my celebrity that I would like to know if he's a liberal or conservative, and I have thoughts on this, is The Rock. And like I knew The Rock, like I've been following The Rock. I remember when The Rock debuted as a wrestler, as Rocky Maivia at Survivor Series when I was in high school, and he came out wearing a frou-frou fringy little thing and has descended his way up the Hollywood ladder. And I think he's a conservative.
I think he's a conservative as well.
Why do you think he's a conservative?
I think The Rock is a conservative because I think that he is against taxes.
Well, that makes sense.
I think that he's I think it's very much about money. And I think that he probably has a few close calls with Uncle Sam.
I think he's a conservative simply because like he will do what it takes to get to what he wants. Like, I
Ah.
know he like set a goal of being like the highest paid actor in Hollywood back when he was in the WWE, and like, you know, no one thought he could ever do it. And he said, I'm going to do it. And he went and worked his way up. And I think that he keeps his mouth shut about these things. And anytime someone keeps their mouth shut, you know, they're minimally like a centrist and more often more conservative than they want you to know.
Yes, I think that's very true.
All right. Who's your celebrity that you want to talk about?
What do you think of Leonardo DiCaprio?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, with his carbon footprint.
Well, I mean,
do you really think that he cares that much about it, or do you think it's
no? I don't think he cares about it at all.
His agent was like, "Hey, dude, okay, we need like some
it gets him
cause for you,
laid,
man."
Yeah, no, I think it gets him laid. I mean, maybe.
Oh, you really think that you need global warming and stuff like that to get laid if you're
well, I suppose, but
I think he does not have to. Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think he has to worry about that. But
no, I guess.
Do you think? So you think? Do you think he really doesn't care about the environment?
I don't know that he doesn't care. I'm sure he cares on like some level, but it's like, do I see him as being like, you know, the male Greta? No, I don't. Like, I don't think he really cares. I think that, you know, he cares enough maybe to give money to it, but I don't think it's his. And I think he's probably more, maybe it's one of those things that's like socially liberal, like fiscally conservative sort of thing.
Yeah. Is
that what you get to?
Well, I do feel that he actually does. I think it's really very difficult for Scorpios to lie. And I don't think that he would have the wherewithal to fight and be so vocal about a cause unless it was really close to his heart. I do think that he actually believes that we have the power to destroy the earth, which I think is the most arrogant thing that we could think as humans. The earth is going to be fine, people. It's going to be completely fine. What's not going to be fine is us, but I think the earth is going to be completely all set. Like, let's have a little bit of faith in the earth. But I think that in other areas that he is extremely conservative, extremely. Maybe that's the balance there. And that's why he's focusing on that. But I would not think that he's the type that would ever vote for Bernie Sanders or Biden. I think that he probably respects Trump.
What about, oh, thank you, Hugh Jazz.
Thank you, Jazz.
For the super chat. Yes, and he wants to know about Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel. I would get definitely conservative.
I think conservative as well. Because he's also one of those people that doesn't talk about it and he doesn't make a big show about it.
And that's the thing. I think somebody in your Twitter even said, you know, Mama Cass, back in the day, she would push people to vote and use their voice, but they didn't push their political opinions on people. Like, it's ridiculous. Stay in, like, I just don't understand why they have to be vocal like that, especially if it's not true. Like De Niro, I'm sorry. I honestly don't believe him. I don't believe him. I don't believe that he hates Trump as much as he does.
Well,
I think it's just stick. I think it's a total lie. I don't buy it for a second.
Well, I think it's like there's a lot of pressure on them, though, I would think, because I mean, I think of people like, you know, Jared Leto, when he started winning all those awards. Yeah, I know what you think of him. Whatever. I like him.
No, I like Jared Leto.
I literally have Jared Leto's band tattooed on my wrist, Joshua.
Hey, Jared Leto was very nice to me. I met him 3 times. And he was very nice all 3 times. And it's very difficult to be nice to me 3 times in a row.
Well, don't I
You're
know
a celebrity.
it. But no, like Jared Leto, and I think the same is true for like Joaquin Phoenix this year. So he started winning all the awards for that movie, right? Dallas Buyers Club. And the first time he won, I think, the Golden Globe, he didn't say anything social justice-y in his speech. And then like all these things come out, like Jared Leto should be thanking trans people and talking about like AIDS and all this stuff. And, you know, I mean, it's his award, man. He worked hard for that. And, you know, he can say whatever he wants, but I can understand the pressure that he must have been under to say what people wanted him to say. Otherwise, they were just going to keep attacking him.
And did he see? I don't remember what he did. He go out in public and wind up?
I think when he won the Oscar, he did give a little bit of like a social justice-y speech, and I think Joaquin Phoenix did exactly the same thing when he won his, and I was a little disappointed by that.
Right. Well, I think that Jared Leto is a Capricorn. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's going to do anything that he can in order to secure that next paycheck. Like, let's just face it. Capricorns are not beneath lying in order to get ahead. That's just the nature of Capricorn. In terms of Joaquin Phoenix, I think he's definitely most likely a liberal.
Oh, I think he's absolutely liberal.
100%. Yeah.
Miles in chat says, I think Kathy Griffin is fake. I don't think Kathy Griffin is fake at all. I don't. I think she said, I think that what you see is like, well, at least up to the point where she held up Trump's head. Like, I don't know.
Kathy Griffin. Okay.
Yeah.
You know who I thought you were was the other one, Lee Gifford. Kathy Griffin is definitely a liberal. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Kathy Griffin's another Scorpio. I think Scorpios really have a tough time lying. If Scorpios can't tell the truth, they'll remain silent usually.
And so,
but speaking of Kathy Lee Gifford, what do you think of her?
Oh no, I haven't watched her in so long. Yeah, I'm sure she probably is, right?
That's my guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. And so last one, maybe, unless, you really want to do more.
Oh, I have one more.
I know, I was going to say, do yours. You do yours.
Brad Pitt.
You and I are going to disagree on this. I think he is a fucking liberal. I think he is.
I absolutely think he's conservative.
Well, why do you think he's, because that Oscar speech, oh my God, I was so mad because I really wanted him to win the Oscar this year, that he gets up and he's like, goes right into his social justice spiel. I was like, no, Brad Pitt, no, don't do it.
Because he knows who butters his bread.
But he just won an Oscar. I'm sorry, in the moment that you win an Oscar, can't you just tell everyone to go screw?
No, because I think this is the thing. I think that Brad Pitt is aware that he would not be getting an Oscar unless he was good looking like he is. He is not that great of an actor. He does not deserve an Oscar. If he was ugly, there's no way in hell he would have gotten an Oscar, and he knows that. So it's very easy, I think, psychologically for him to be sort of like, well, I don't deserve this, so let me diffuse it by creating this thing. Do you know what I mean? Almost it's a way for him to not accept the Oscar because he knows that he doesn't really deserve it, which he probably doesn't.
I don't know. I think he's a liberal. Travel and Pack says, Karlyn, I like you, but this is BS. Well, give us a different topic to talk about, Travel and Pack. Don't complain. Don't come with problems. Come with solutions.
Or at least frame your problems in solutions.
Yeah, I can't do anything with this is BS, man. We're having fun here.
Okay. So what else do we want to talk about that late?
So I don't know. I have to give Trump credit because I about threw something at the TV today out of just absolute impatience with the press at these daily briefings, because they asked Joshua. They ask the same goddamn question every single day, and Trump answers it the exact same way every day, and then they still go and lie about him every single day. So and today it was for the 8,000th time they asked him about that damn medication. Thank you for the super chat, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
They asked him about that damn medication, and Trump says what he always says, which is, it might work. It might not work. It's not going to hurt you. It's people are using it for a long time. Talk to your doctors. If you have a heart condition, it might not be good for you. Talk to your doctors. I'm not a doctor. Talk to your doctor. He says the same thing every time. And everyone's like, Trump is pushing this drug on everyone. And you know what the latest was today?
Right.
Is I think it was I want to say it's the New York Times, but some media outlet came out with the fact that Trump has stock or something in the company that makes the drug. And this was their big bombshell is Trump is doing this to make money. And apparently they didn't expect anyone to investigate it because people actually did. And Mike Cernovich did. And he found out that Trump stands to make, are you ready for it? Are you ready for how much Trump is going to make from this?
What?
Between $100 and $1,400.
Yeah, exactly. Trump,
it's so ridiculous.
Trump is wise enough to know that he never has to worry about money for the rest of his life. I mean, I think that he's very fearless in regard to money. I mean, I think that he knows that all he has to do is write a book or give a exclusive interview. I mean, he has no need to do anything for money really, which is why I think he can do a lot, because he's not doing it, I don't think, with financial motivation. He's smart enough to know that he does not need to worry about money. And that is one huge lesson all of us really should own, because when you're fully expressing yourself and you're using your talents and you're showing up on a regular basis and putting yourself out there, allowing yourself to be ridiculed, you too will not want for anything. It's a huge lesson he's teaching us energetically, that it's okay to be rich.
Yeah. Well, and people have such a crappy relationship with money. That's why liberals hate businesses so much, right? Honestly, it's like they like what is the issue that they have with money in businesses? Because like I like making money. I'm a big fan of
Yeah.
making money.
Yeah, no, I love money as well. I think that a lot of us have been sort of trained that money is the root of all evil, that it's filthy lucre, they call it. And so it's sort of like you get that in your brain. And I think it's then, becomes belief. And it means that if you become a millionaire or a billionaire, then that means that you're a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
Or they hold people in contempt in their head who have money. So they don't want to be like them. You know what I mean? Like if daddy had money or, some boss they had a lot of money, they want to create that level of separation. So they want to remain poor. But they've been studies that like, I don't know if it's studies, but it's philosophy that if you are comfortable staying middle class, that you have mental illness, essentially. Like it's mentally ill to want to just stay middle class. Like,
why?
Crazy. They've just said that it's crazy to want to, tread water in place and to remain where you are financially. The mantra of the universe is more. I mean, it's a matter
of. But that doesn't necessarily need to be money. That could be love. It doesn't have to be money.
No, but the whole concept of being complacent with staying in middle class is, well, I think it's strange because it's evidence that you're not growing. I'm not saying that money means that you're growing necessarily, but let's face it, it is a byproduct of creative expression. It's a byproduct of using your talent. Like in the old days, like in biblical times, talent was a unit of measure. You would give somebody a talent for something else. Now we have to use our talent. So if you're staying middle class, then you on some level are not willing, excuse me, to use as much talent as you have.
Okay. Or not willing to like to see yourself as valuable.
Right. Not willing to see yourself as valuable. And not only that, but increasing in value. Because like as we grow, as we evolve, as we get the courage to further express ourselves and what we learn, we should be adding more value to the world. If we're adding more value to the world, then guess what? We should be getting more value from the world. We should be getting paid more.
I don't know. I just don't think the goal is money though. I think it could be, I think like, I think there could be reasons why people would want to stay middle class that are perfectly acceptable.
Fear-based reasons.
Well, maybe.
Fear-based meaning, oh, somebody's going to want me only for my money. I could get taken advantage of. I could lose my money. Like it's the mantra of the universe is more. And I'm not just saying in terms of money. It should be more love, more success, more friends, more joy, more pleasure. And not just money, but everything we should be getting it should be more, including money, I think.
Alicia in chat says that she loves this woo-woo shit. I needed this at the end of the day.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we might do tarot cards, but I wouldn't call myself that woo-woo. I mean, granted, we run charts and tarot cards, but yeah, I wouldn't say I'm.
You're pretty.
I mean, I'm woo. Obviously, I do this for work, but I'm
Joshua, you wear colors based on like where the moon is. Okay.
I do.
You do. That's woo-woo, dude. Just own it.
Okay. Yeah.
You are a professional psychic.
I'm an astrologer.
You were like a high-class professional psychic and astrologer.
No, sometimes. I don't know how high class I am, but yeah, we can be woo-woo. That's for sure.
A little bit.
What else do you want to talk about? We're ending soon. We better get our.
We blew through all of our topics. I wrote something about a mask down on our topic list. I don't remember what that was. Do you remember what that was?
Okay. Are you wearing a mask?
Am I wearing? Okay. This is what it is. Wearing like a coronavirus mask. Dave Rubin asked me to knit him a mask, a royal blue mask.
You totally need to.
I'm going to. I think I have the yarn for it. I have to figure it out though. I have to find a pattern.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
super cool.
Am I wearing a mask though? No, I'm not. No. First off, I don't leave my house that much. Like I really only go to the store because my gym is closed and it's awful. But like, I mean, I live in New Hampshire, man. There's no one out. Like I'm not coughing on anyone. No one's coughing on me. Like why? I don't understand. People are getting crazy about these masks. And now, you know what's on my Facebook now is like all these designer masks are popping up with like the universe and like stars and stripes and like all this nonsense.
I mean, again, this is an opportunity for people to make more money. I mean, that's the thing that this is really doing for us. Saturn This is very woo, went into Aquarius on, I think it was the 22nd of, or the 24th of March. And Saturn's responsibility, Aquarius is about innovation and technology. We're responsible now for being innovative and making these masks and these other technological advances. Like that is one of the greatest things that can come out of this coronavirus stuff. It's brilliant.
Leia actually makes a good point in chat. She says, I'm not wearing a mask, and none of the journalists at the task force briefing are wearing masks, like other than photographers. I didn't even know the photographers were wearing masks.
Yeah.
None of them are wearing masks.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's getting a little, I mean, obviously, I think my philosophy is that what you believe creates your reality. So if I believe that if I don't wear a mask, I'm going to get sick, then I will most likely get sick. If I believe that I don't need a mask, that I'm fine. My philosophy anyway, is that you won't. Like, your beliefs create your reality, I think, at the end of the day. And I think that if somebody feels more comfortable wearing a mask, then absolutely
then
wear
go to
one.
it.
Absolutely.
Wear 2 masks.
Wear 2 masks. But yeah, I mean, same thing here. I am in Los Angeles, West Hollywood area of LA. And I'll tell you, I went out the other night for a little run because the dispensaries, okay, are open right now. Can you believe this?
Lucky you, because
my
mine
Starbucks,
not.
My Starbucks, okay, because I'm certainly not addicted to weed, but I am definitely addicted to caffeine. Starbucks, I can't go to. The dispensary, though, so Starbucks are all closed. The dispensary is open till 10 p.m. And LA right now has never been cleaner. Like, I get to cross the street without even looking, okay?
Wow.
It's so clean because all of the buildings have been shut down. There's no cars that are out. It was raining when it never rains in LA the other night. I wound up walking to my dispensary. It's probably about a mile away, just, singing because nobody's out. Like, I can just sing in the rain, running, skipping. Like, who the hell is out? Nobody. So I can be this crazy person. It was, I mean, honestly, we'll never get an opportunity to do this again. Ever.
I'm very jealous that dispensaries are open because the ones in Massachusetts are like closed to recreational sales. Only medicinal sales, and I do not have a medicinal card. I'm very jealous.
That's totally not cool.
It's not cool.
I will tell you, I think the doormen, because they had to check my passport, they were like making conversation. Nobody was wearing masks there, I don't think. It was like, it was pretty chill, maybe because they were high and we're like, yeah, it's fine. But I also think that you don't want to resist. I remember when I was planning a trip to England, and I was so worried. I'm like, I don't want to be sick when I'm in England. I don't want to be sick when I'm in England. I don't want to be sick when I'm in England. And I was literally having like raw garlic sandwiches. And what happened? But I got sick. So what you resist persists. So if you take your precautions, of course, but don't make it this obsession. And I think that's really key to not, what you fear you become. So let's not, give undue fear to this thing.
I think it's stupid. Like, I've never been afraid of getting this thing. Right. Because like, even if you get it, most people like don't even have severe symptoms to it, and then like the vast majority of people don't die, and the ones that do are much older. So I've never been afraid of getting this thing. I just think it's ridiculous, and I also think like I'm actually starting to freak out at how like law enforcement is starting to act around these stupid regulations. Like, Joshua, did you know that in your city, your mayor wants you to snitch on your neighbors and you will get a reward if you keep going outside, someone's going to snitch on you and get a reward.
I mean, I'm not like walking around like
it doesn't matter. What's going to happen when you start bribing people to snitch on their neighbors?
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's insane, but where are people going? I mean, what was it? That guy who was paddling?
Yeah. The paddleboarder. Yeah.
No, he gets in trouble for not socially distancing. There's acres around him with nobody nearby. I don't understand what the issue is.
Right. Some guy did the same thing in Huntington Beach and he got like arrested and $1,000 fine.
Yeah, that's crazy. Meanwhile, speaking of people who are arrested, we have prisoners now that are on the loose.
Yeah, what the hell was with that, man?
Completely ridiculous. However, the reason being, I don't think it's because they're worried about the prisoners so much as they're caring about the staff. They want to, because the staff, they have a lot to contend with. So, and there are a lot of nurses and doctors who are they're in the what is it called? The first line of
defense?
Yeah, they're on the first line. I think they call it that.
Well,
anyway,
you know what,
they had to do it for them.
You know what I heard though, and I think it's in Florida. I could be wrong about that, but it's somewhere like if you get arrested, they're holding you without bond until all of this is over. So they're letting people, like actual people who have been convicted of crimes, go. But if you get arrested, and I think it's in Florida, they're holding you without bond. I'm like,
this is
what does that even make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're afraid of, but we need fresh air still, and I don't think that that's an issue. Like if I have a dog and I let my dog relieve himself, that's okay. But if I go outside for fresh air, it's not. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. I mean, I think fresh air is very important. I think we need to make sure that we're getting some fresh air. I'm not necessarily having pool parties and stuff, but let's make sure that we're getting our fresh air. It's very important.
And then someone sent me a sign from a Walmart in Vermont where like you can go in and buy like food and stuff at the Walmart, but they were in the gardening section and you aren't allowed to buy gardening stuff because it's not essential. So you can go in and buy other stuff in the Walmart, but not the gardening stuff or things they deem not essential. I'm like, how is that not essential? Like, what do you want people to do?
Oh, can I though give major props to Amazon, who keeps telling me whenever I'm buying stuff, because of course I've developed quite the Amazon shopping habit during this coronavirus. They are telling me like, okay, this won't come till April 27th, and yet it comes right on time.
Does it really?
Yeah, like I get, how I love my coffee. I got this like box of coffee, and it's like, $30 all this coffee. It's this box, and you just pop it in the fridge and you rip the tab off, and it's like a tap. And literally it said April 27th that I would get it, and I got it within a day.
Wow.
Props to Amazon.
Yay,
Amazon. And that is essential, if you ask me. I think so. I mean, it's just
I've been so scared about running out of coffee. Like I get like several bags every time I go to the store. Just in case.
I have also magical toilet paper. Magical, because I swear it like replicates itself. Maybe Dude. Like, I don't know. I'm really lucky. We're about to run out, and like I can't find any. No. We're about to run out of toilet paper, not ending the show. Okay. Okay, so we do have a question in the chat. Horror Scorpion says, "Hey, psychic dude." Hey, psychic dude. That's me.
and he wants to know, is Boris going to die? And now you know who Boris is because we talked about it before the show, and you were like, "Who's Boris Johnson?"
I'll never get to live in England now.
No.
We're not supposed to predict the three Ds: death, disease, and divorce. But yeah, I would be really surprised if he was sticking around by the end of the summer, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
That's what I feel. I feel that his energy feels to me to be waning. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to die.
Well, he wasn't like the ICU. But now he seems to be better, I heard. I feel
this is how I feel his energy is. It's waning. That's what I get. Like his energy is waning. So, I'm not saying he's hanging on by a thread, but I'm sort of saying that he's hanging on by a thread. Not necessarily does that mean he's going to die. He might be in catatonic shock or comatose or something, but he doesn't feel to have that like, I'm alive type vibration,
Well, he is in the hospital, and because he has coronavirus, and he got put in. Yeah, because you know what Boris Johnson did, though, he totally brought this on himself, because when all this was like ramping up, he was like, I'm still gonna shake everyone's hand, and I'm still shaking and all this stuff, and it's like, oh my god, dude. And so he did end up getting in, and he went into the hospital, and he was in the ICU, but then I think he got out of the ICU, or he got stable or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think he feels very strong to me. So yeah, I would definitely be. I think it's cause for concern.
Well, I hope he pulls through, because I like Boris.
Obviously hope he pulls through. I'm not wishing. I mean, I don't even know.
I understand you're not like casting a spell.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to, but I love British people. A lot of my past lives were in England.
Oh yeah, I definitely had a past life in England.
I was a king. No, I was in many lives. In fact, I was a king in England. That's
my God.
That is why when I go to London, I am. Let me tell you, I am a god in London. When I go to London, I don't know what it is. I get passed by here in the States all the time. In London, it's like,
I think I was a high priestess in Egypt. I'm pretty sure. I think I had a couple lives in ancient Egypt.
Were you Cleopatra?
I was not Cleopatra. I was like in this like school of mysteries sort of thing. But I did a meditation one time where I had this super clear vision of me in that role, like being the teacher of like, you remember the shaman that I went to Peru with that you always hated?
Yeah, him.
He was like your rival.
I mean, okay, go ahead.
So guys, on the chat, I went to Peru with a shaman and Joshua was very upset about it and didn't get over it for months.
Hey, look, I'm like Donald Trump. I am like Donald Trump. I do not do anything, but if you start with me, I will finish you off. And that is exactly what happened with the shaman. Like, I'm very nice guy. As soon as you start messing around with me, though, the teeth come out. All right?
Well, you won, Joshua.
I do. I tend to do that.
You defeated the shaman. But I had like a very clear vision of like, so he was one of my teachers, maybe not my only teacher in like this life, right? But I was his teacher in a former one.
This is the shaman.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God! What time is it? We have
5 minutes. But I also think you and I had a past life together.
No, I think we did.
Ancient Japan. I think it was in ancient Japan. Okay. You said it was Vietnam. Maybe it was both. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, very, very possible. Very possible. Yeah. I know that in my last life, supposedly I died in Vietnam, and what happened, it was friendly fire, and I was listening to the Doors at the time. Like, it was on a transistor radio.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why when I was growing up, I always was like into the Doors, like listening to the Doors. I was like always listening to the Doors, and I think that might have been why. I wonder what song it was though.
And you think that I was with you in that life? You've said to me.
I definitely think that we served in Vietnam together. Yes, I think so. Yeah. Maybe it was the friendly fire.
Maybe now, I shot you.
Well, yeah, it could have been that. It could have been that.
That would make so much sense.
You could have caused the friendly fire. Which is why now you're hosting me on the show. I mean,
I'm trying to make it up to you.
The balance, yeah, very possible.
Wow, I definitely think I had a really clear vision of us in like ancient Japan, and I know I was a dude, and I'm not clear if you were like a man or a woman, but it was definitely like we had a life together there too.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. There's so many of them. But you know what's so funny about past lives is that we see them as past lives, but really all time, as we say, is all going on concurrently. Yeah. So all time is happening at the same time. So it's not necessarily past life. It's actually going on right now.
So Joshua Maguire says, I want to play pretend too.
Let's play pretend.
Listen, man. Well, it's because we're talking about past lives, so like you're saying, like we're imagining them. But listen, man, like you're.
I mean, she has a point.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like, what do you think? Like your imagination, like those images come from?
Exactly.
They come from somewhere.
You can't imagine non-existence. If you can imagine it, it must exist somewhere. So, but yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, we're coming up on our hour. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Joshua, do you want to do a final message? Because it's like a new moon or full moon today?
Full.
I knew it was full. I knew that. I knew
it. Full moon in Libra. So the next 2 weeks, this is really good. You want to get rid of anything that you no longer need. So think of it in terms of like, I no longer need BS. I no longer need negativity. I no longer need this, the way I'm handling this situation. So it's all about like letting go of what is no longer serving you. So you have room for things that are better. Think of it in terms of you want to metaphorically get rid of all the old clothes so you can buy really nice new ones online because you won't be able to go to the malls for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm going to get rid of?
What?
Assholes saying negative shit in the comments. So I'm swearing, I'm tired. Like, but I'm done with this. Like, people are insane on social media, but I got to stop looking at it. But I want to look at the comments because a lot of people say really good things, and they say things that like make me think, and they have good comments. And then there are all these like bastards that pop up.
You have got to. I mean, again, that's part of the package. And you also want to remember that if somebody is going out of their way to leave a comment, they might be a hater, but they're also a fan. I mean, you want people to say those things about you. Why would you go out of your way to make somebody feel bad unless you felt bad? Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't look at it as, it's never a reflection on you. It's what you're calling up, because you're catalyzing people's jealousy for a reason, and that I think deserves props. Like that should be like a win. Somebody actually hates me so much that, you know, I'm that great, you know?
I said to Victor the other day, I was like, you know what I'm doing with this YouTube? I'm just like starting shit. I'm just like dropping a bomb and running away and then like watching what happens from afar. And it's kind of fun, I have to say.
It's important. Yeah.
All right, Joshua.
Awesome. Okay, well, this is fun. It's time for bed, definitely.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing next week?
Yes, next week.
We'll spend more time on our topics next week so we don't blow through them in half an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. So if there's any topics that you would want Joshua and I to cover next week, like leave a comment, let us know. We will take your suggestions. And yeah, I'm
on Karlyn social if you want to find me.
Oh yeah, if you want to find Joshua, where can they find you, Joshua?
Oh, well, if they're following you, then they'll be able to follow me. Yeah. I'm not too far behind. I'm always.
You're lurking
in the shadows,
like a stalker.
Like a stalker. Yeah.
You can find him at psychicsun.com or follow him at psychicjoshua. And I just launched a new website, which is drkarlyn.com, to separate it out from my business, to start like maintaining some semblance of professionalism. And also I've just launched our Subscribe Star. So if you want to support the channel, support the content, you can go on to Subscribe Star, sign up to make a monthly donation. There are all sorts of different perks. And if I get to $2,000 in monthly donations, I'm gonna launch a podcast, because everyone wants me to launch a podcast.
So Subscribe Star, will they be able to find that on drkarlyn.com?
Yes, they can find it on there. There's a donate link, and they can also donate via PayPal if they would like. And yeah, if you want, I need to make a category for this show though, because I want people to be able to specifically support this show, because anything, you know, we get for this, I will split with you because I'm generous.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so,
totally. I get to buy more coffee.
You'll get to buy more coffee. You'll get to buy at least a cup of coffee from Starbucks from the split of the earnings. But if you guys want a donation to go to Joshua too, just put it in the notes or something, and I'll make it happen.
That's me.
Yeah, it's you. It's you.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Happy full moon.
Bye.
Bye.
Hang on. Because now I don't know how to end this. We're going to be on forever. I don't know how to end it. Oh, no.
Forever and ever.
Okay, I'm just going to stop the Zoom. Hopefully it'll stop.
Okay.